Alright, what's the damage?
We got this thing apart and it's pretty torn up.
Artlist.io.
So obviously the oil pan junk. The block is fixable, but I don't know if Tony's gonna want to fix it. So this thing you can see down here, it's been cracked and repaired before. That's a big weld there. And now it's cracked over here. So this thing's been blown up a couple times. And can we fix it? Yes. Is it worth fixing? Not sure. Luckily the crank is not too torn up. This right here is where the rod broke and it came around and it hit the rod. Luckily it's just like a little scuff on there and it's not a big dent. So I think the crank's okay. All the pistons besides this one are okay. This is the one that broke.
Yikes.
Yeah. So obviously that piston and rod's junk.
None of the other ones got messed up though?
No, the other 7 pistons look fine.
Nice.
So all the rods, all that you can see, like they got little dings in them, you know. So, you know, we won't reuse them. We'll have to get a new set of rods.
Tony was kind of already on the fence or reluctant to do anything repairing it last time.
Exactly. He told us before, actually the first time that he went through the motor, he told us that like this block's been blown up several times and repaired several times and that we should probably look for a new block. So I got a feeling he's gonna say, don't even mess with this block. So we're gonna load it up and take it over to him and see what he says.
Don't break it!
Ain't got no gas in it.
Here, put it back on!
It's perking them up for you.
That's a good look. What do you think, Stevie?
I think Tara needs to reconsider something.
That should work.
Go.
You know, you feel like I'm going to the doctor, but I already know I'm gonna have bad news.
I'm not looking forward to this checkup.
I'll say Tony's does feel like the doctor.
Yeah, man. We didn't listen to you, and we ate bad. You know.
What's the bad news, Doc?
Our race car's sick. Can you help us?
Oh god. Oh god. That's a hell of a drinking game.
Yeah. So all I brought with me, I already tore it down so that I could see the damage. All I brought with me today was the block and the crank. We're actually also looking at another motor. Do you have that?
He ain't raced that for years, so I'm guessing he's not advertising it.
No, he just messaged me and said it was for sale. He said, I will sell it.
Well, naturally, this would be nice because it just
Bolts right.
That's where I'm at.
I don't know if you can use the same headers. That would be nice.
Well, even if I got to change the flanges on them, that's not the end of the world.
Yep. But the length is going to be the same.
Right. That's where I was at. I don't really have any more room between my firewall and my rack, so
That was a good piece.
yeah. And so
That'll probably run a little bit better than what you got.
that's kind of what we figured is newer. It's probably in a lot better shape.
And I don't think it's ever been blown up. I think it's had burnt pistons in it, but it's never been broke.
We've never got a hold of it yet.
Yeah, it's gonna end up like this one in the back of the truck.
That was 89 passes on those rods.
So you did have quite a few. That's a big stroke motor.
Yeah. After I picked that crankshaft up out of the block, I was like, I don't know how this thing spins 8,000 RPM and then just fly apart. That's pretty amazing.
It's a pretty crude looking old bastard.
I'm like, this crank is rough looking. This is heavy.
Crude don't make it bad.
No.
Hey, it's beat some stuff, man. That piece of junk.
How many races we won already this year? 6?
Damn.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I think a lot of people don't really realize this. How much power does a twin turbo Hemi normally make?
There's people advertising all over the place. They make 5,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much you think that turd out there that we just tore up makes? We're
How many
spraying.
pounds an hour you got in it?
Normally like 2,800. If he grabs the third kid, it's like 3,400 pounds an hour.
You're probably 1,800 to 2,200.
Yeah. That's it. People we race, they think that thing makes 3,500 horsepower. We're like, are you silly?
That's because we're looking at your tail lights.
2,000 on a good day.
It's like that's a pretty nice. It's not even really. That's a pretty nice turbo small block. Is what that is.
Dude, I can't. The best comment we get is we'll get down on the big end, and all these turbo small block guys will get out and say, "I've never been drove away from on the big end by a nitrous car." They've never raced a nitrous car that runs any mile an hour.
By a four-door. What kind of speed? What's the best speed you run in it?
On the slick, it's been on the VPS has been at 165.
Okay, so what?
On a slick. We think we're about. Well, we were about to put it on a radial for
Well,
the
if it goes
second half of the season.
165 on a slick, it'll probably go 170 on a radial.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So last year at 3,000 pounds, we went 165. We think this year, since everything we've done to it over the winter, on a radial, I think we can be around 2,550, 2,600 pounds. We're 400 pounds lighter than we were last year. So I was like, this thing's gonna go teens or 20s on a radial.
Yeah. And you guys don't race on killer tracks, so.
No,
they're rough.
well, you'd be blown away the stuff that we're going 460s on, like junk, absolute junk.
And
And that thing can go 460s, 470s like a bracket car on a 28-10-5 slick.
We'll go see how bad it is.
Yep, let's go get Jim loaded here.
It takes over.
That's a 5-inch board spacing.
Well, that was EFI already. We might need that.
He's burned up like 12 times in a row, so don't feel too bad. He told me yesterday, he said,
all these off
problems.
Boys, I just slow one of these up.
These guys run.
Somebody doesn't need something, you know what I mean? They won't know.
Got options.
200 feet.
That's the heaviest crankshaft I've ever picked up in my life.
You never picked up a 5-inch board spacing.
No. But also, if you tell me this crank is pretty, because it's, in my opinion, it's kind of rough looking.
It's not the prettiest crank in the world.
So if you told me that we're not using this crank, you're not going to hurt my feelings either. Just because the other motor that we're looking at's got a 5.5-inch stroke and this is a 5 3/8. I wouldn't mind for them to be somewhat matching.
Well, this crankshaft.
It tells you
is
that
so
Brad's
hard,
already bought this on.
It just smeared it. I don't even think it dented.
That's what I said. I'm like, it surprisingly didn't hurt it like at all. I'm like, you could probably polish that up.
I believe it probably would.
But whoever put the Mallory in there,
There was kind of overlapping there a little bit.
yeah, they need a welding lesson.
You want to pick it up or just flip it over?
Do you want to look at it, or do you want to?
You guys let's take a look at it and see what I tell you to shoot.
Just keep flipping.
It ain't gonna hurt anything now.
Scratch your truck out. So that right there is the
Ew.
yes, ew.
Yeah, then
We run water through the block, right?
Currently,
we don't
you
have
see it's been
Yep. So it's not didn't break in the repair.
no, but I'm not so sure because this looks like it's been ground on. I'm not so sure that hadn't been welded there and then ground down. You know?
It could have been, but you get whacked right here. That would have break that too.
Right.
Well, that's an easier repair than this is a half solid block, ain't it? So there's no water there.
No, it does look like that it's solid up to here.
Yeah. That's probably not that big a deal to repair.
And then, like I said, that's an easy repair there.
What's that? So it ended up over here somehow, didn't it? Yeah, that's pretty easy.
It actually broke number 3. Number 3 was the rod
Somehow
that
it
broke.
flopped over there.
And I think a piece of the rod come over here and got stuck between the counterweight and the
Yep.
block, and it shoved it. But yeah,
I think that's repairable.
but number 3 is actually the one that broke.
Did we put we didn't put new sleeves in this one we did it first time, did we?
Not the first time. The second, when it dropped the valve last winter, I think you put 1 or 2 sleeves in it.
Two. I got two.
But it was, I think it was 6 and 8
Actually,
got sleeves. I think that's an original sleeve.
I think these 2 got replaced. And I tell you why. These are all milled flush. And these 2 stick up. So we left it higher because it didn't need to be notched that far back. I'm not even sure if it needs re-sleeved.
It broke 6 and 8. Well, I'm pretty sure were the sleeves that got replaced.
And they could bend.
Yeah.
Only reason I was just thinking not because these 2 stick up, but that doesn't
If you
necessarily
don't have to
mean-
re-sleeve it, then
Yeah. Well, I think I got 8 pistons that might be usable. Obviously, we need to order some
No, this
rods.
is chipped off, but it's not chipped off.
I thought the
as far
same
down
thing.
as
I'm
this.
like, you could just grind that down, couldn't you?
There's a possibility that doesn't even need. I think I would fix this thing.
Can you believe that?
hey, we're going up.
Things are looking up.
Maybe. The hardest thing is to get it welding this without distorting these sleeves, but I think we could maybe do that. Pull them 2 out. We can get them out without messing, but we might have to buy 2 sleeves.
Well, and I remember you saying before that the
Because that's cracked up into here, but since this is solid up into here, maybe it's a doable thing.
I remember you saying before that the line bore had
It was
been
pretty wonky.
Well, it had been moved up, and I think you'd have put a shorter timing belt on it because it had
that
been
makes sense.
line bored so many times.
But just go over it. If we can't fix it, we can't fix it.
Well, I think we can unless you don't want to.
Well,
guess
whichever
it's
you think would be better, we can use this block, or if you think it would be better to use the other block we got.
Well, ultimately, say we put more stroke in and stuff, it's going to be better if we use the other block. Or we can put the same stroke in, put it in that block, but the cubes will be the same.
I think if we're going to do that other block, we just make it bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I'd hate to.
The cheapest way to do this for sure is to fix this one.
Well, that's kind of where I was at. If it's fixable, I think we'd just fix it.
And
Because
then
right now it's not worth it.
save your pennies for a bigger one. We're going to unload them to the next door up.
Okay.
So just pull forward there a little bit.
If it falls out, then it wasn't meant to be. You know?
Sounds like you just don't want this one to be fixed.
I don't know, buddy. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think, Rick? It's just, this thing's had a hard life. Like, I don't think YouTube world like really realizes like this is a nice motor, but it's really done some stuff in its life to like, yeah, it shouldn't have won all the races. It's won. Rick was like, you see why you don't want to fix it? I'm like, this poor old thing's just had a life, boys. When we called Gene Fulton trying to find some parts, and his first response was like, whoa, that's an old motor. You old bitch! Yeah, that didn't turn out so bad, Rick. Really. I mean, he kind of gave us hope there.
We went to the doctor and we got a good prognosis.
So everyone's gonna comment, just they're gonna be like, put the 959 in it, you know.
It's not that easy.
It's not that easy. It doesn't fit.
So 959 going in, we wouldn't be racing for the rest of the season.
No, and I get it. We own a shop, but it's not really how this works. Like, you know, we still have to work.
Yeah.
You know, so doing another 5 inches probably the most. It just makes the most sense. And the motor that we found, it's just in Chicago. The guys actually offered to deliver it. Tony just went through it, so it's EFI. So we'll see. That's kind of I think that's probably what we'll do. That'll wrap it for this video. Thanks for looking at the Charlie Brown construction or destruction.
Deconstruction.
Yeah, we're here to get some construction. So we appreciate you. Like, share, subscribe. See you later.